Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Kansas City Public Library at the Blueford branch, and April is National Poetry Month, and for April of 2025, I am reading poems from River Anthology by Edgar Lee Masters. And we're doing a few poems a day. The premise of the work as a whole is that we are wandering through a graveyard called the Hill, overlooking Spoon River, the town, and Spoon River itself, the river. And that as we pass by the tombs, we see the names, and then the people who are in those graves speak to us. And sometimes they're very ironic, sometimes they're wistful, sometimes they're angry, sometimes they're actually sort of happy. Some of the people have lived good lives. So, here we're going to be looking at Minerva Jones. I am Minerva, the village poetess, hooted at, jeered at by the yahoos of the street for my heavy body, cock-eye, and rolling walk, and all the more when Butch Weldy captured me after a brutal hunt. He left me to my fate with Dr. Meyers, and I sank into death, growing numb from the feet up, like one stepping deeper and deeper into a stream of ice. Will someone go to the village newspaper and gather into a book the verses I wrote? I thirsted so for love, I hungered so for life. So here, Minerva Jones, the town poetess, she's jeered at, but she's raped by a guy named Weldy, and she gets pregnant apparently, and then left to Doc Meyers. She dies there. So a rather sad sort of end for her, especially one who hungered so for life. Indignation Jones. You would not believe, would you, that I came from good Welsh stock, that I was purer blooded than the white trash here, and of more direct lineage than the New Englanders and Virginians of Spoon River? You would not believe that I had been to school and read some books. You saw me only as a run-down man with matted hair and beard and ragged clothes. Sometimes a man's life turns into a cancer from being bruised and continually bruised, and swells into a purplish mass like growths on stalks of corn. Here was I, a carpenter, mired in a bog of life into which I walked, thinking it was a meadow, with a slattern for a wife, and poor Minerva, my daughter, whom you tormented and drove to death. So I crept like a snail through the days of my life. No more you hear my footsteps in the morning, resounding on the hollow sidewalk, going to the grocery store for a little cornmeal and a nickel's worth of bacon. So here we've got Indignation Jones, Minerva Jones' father. He had been a carpenter, but he basically sort of fell apart because of his daughter being attacked and dying from that attack. Dr. Meyers. This is the guy who Butch Weldy left Minerva with. No other man, unless it was Doc Hill, did more for people in this town than I. And all the weak, the halt, the improvident, and those who could not pay flocked to me. I was good-hearted, easy Dr. Meyers. I was healthy, happy, in comfortable fortune, blessed with a congenial mate, my children raised, all wedded, doing well in the world. And then one night, Minerva, the poetess, came to me in her trouble, crying. I tried to help her out. She died. They indicted me, the newspapers disgraced me, my wife perished from a broken heart, and pneumonia finished me. So Doc Meyers here apparently was a well-respected member of the community, had done a lot of good for the community, but Minerva Jones came, and then it's not clear if he was trying to just patch her up after an attack by Weldy, or whether this was a botched abortion, but Minerva Jones died, and then he got blamed for it, and it ruined his family life, which had been fine up to that point. Mrs. Meyers. He protested all his life long that newspapers lied about him villainously, that he was not at fault for Minerva's fall, but only tried to help her. Poor soul, so sunk in sin, he could not see that even trying to help her, as he called it, he had broken the law, human and divine. Passers-by, an ancient admonition to you, in your ways would be ways of pleasantness, and all your pathways peace. Love God and keep his commandments. So here, Mrs. Meyers reading of the doctors helping Minerva or whatever as being just wrong. In other words, she was a fallen woman. He should have basically left her to die, not tried to intervene. But he did intervene, and things came out badly. So, and here she's actually directing everyone, make sure you keep all the commandments. So, see you tomorrow with more of Spoon River.